Let's set up Fail2Ban on the Raspberry Pi. Fail2Ban is an awesome utility. It's existed for like forever in the Linux domain, and is tremendously popular on servers and firewalls and home routers because it scans the user logs, looks for malicious behavior, too many password fails, seeking exploits, etc., and then bans that particular IP address from a particular action. But very, very useful for blocking out outside intruders. The first thing you need to do is to change the password on your Raspberry Pi. This is tremendously important because if you are using the default credentials, known credentials, that means that bots on the internet, if you open up port forwarding, or anybody that's trying to dial into your network, whether it be authorized traffic or malicious traffic, will know how to access your Raspberry Pi with no sense of security. So to change your password, type passwd and enter your new password. In this case, I used my same old password, which didn't work. Moving on. The next thing you want to do on your Raspberry Pi is to update the operating system and the firmware. To do that, you type sudo apt-get update and in sudo apt-get upgrade-y. Technically speaking, sudo carries over past the and, but it's just a bad habit because sometimes Linux is a little buggy for me. Upgrade-y, when it does the prompt, would you like to download more, 2 megabytes to update a file, it automatically bypass that. So you can just set it and forget it. Sudo apt-get upgrade and update, update and upgrade are tremendously important. You run these on a regular basis because they'll make sure all the packages on your Raspberry Pi, all the packages in the Linux distro are up to date, so that flaws or any potential problems are patched. Next, you're going to type sudo apt-get install Fail2Ban. And it'll take just a minute to run. Yes. The next thing you need to type is sudo nano /etc/fail2ban /jail.local. And you're going to add this bracket ssh enable equal true. This just enables the rule. You can enter rules as drafts by hitting false, then it won't function. Port, in my case, I'm going to block out SSH. I'm going to add some spaces, make this nice and clean. SSH, you could do a port number, or if it's a commonly known port, like SSH is generally port 22. So in this case, if I do SSH, it'll know port 22. Or you can put the port number here if you're going to open up specific ports in your router. Filter sshd, that's out of the Fail2Ban library. Logpath, and all this will be in the video description, equal var log auth.log. Bantime, this is the duration that they'll be banned in seconds. And I like round funny numbers, 9,000 minutes. It just means that if we'll get to a couple lines up, will determine how many max retries they can do in a given time. But this basically means that if they fail to log in, they'll be banned for that many minutes. So you can set 9,000. I'm sure you could do a huge number, make it kind of fun. It won't be tremendously important unless you are worried about getting somebody trying to brute force your Raspberry Pi, which is highly unlikely. But moving on. Banaction equals iptables-allports and max retry equal, I'm going to do 2, which means that, oop, I forgot one. Fail find time equal 900. Just make it 9,000. So what this is doing is it's looking for port 22 traffic, and it's looking at the logs, and it's looking for users that have failed to log in twice inside of 9,000 minutes. I'll make it 900 minutes. It's the find time. And if they've failed to log in twice inside of a 900-minute window, that IP address is banned for 9,000 minutes. You can realistically change any of these values to be whatever suits your needs. But when you're all done, Control X, save, press Y, enter, and then do sudo service fail2ban restart. Done. Up and running. So let me show you this in work. On this side, I'm dialed into one of my other Raspberry Pis. So let's dial in. SSH Pi at 192.168.1.128. Password, gibberish. Password, gibberish. Password, gibberish. All right, we're back. I managed to lock myself up. All right, so I tried to dial into my Raspberry Pi from a different Raspberry Pi I have in my network closet. On the right side, you can see I tried to dial, SSH Pi at 192.168.1.128. Error, SSH, connect to host, connection refused. And if we come back, the IP address on my network for the Raspberry Pi on the right is 192.168.150. So if we come back to the Raspberry Pi, we just put Fail2Ban on. I do sudo iptables-L -n -line. And there you have it. Reject 192.168.1.50. We have successfully banned my other Raspberry Pi from SSHing into this machine because it failed the password twice. And that is how you install Fail2Ban on a Raspberry Pi.